Good morning, good night, and good evening, my motherfucking royals. I am just chilling as I was off today. And I was just sitting here and I wanted to talk about like the slave matrix, or like the trauma matrix that the forces of evil, that the devil, the darkness, whatever it resonates as for you. I'm going to talk about that. So, obviously, at a certain point, God started trying to send star seeds down here onto Earth, right? And it got taxing for the devil and the forces of evil, trying to constantly like hunt down these kids, or trying to create situations in which people wouldn't elevate. And so actually what they devised was what they called the trauma matrix. And so basically they use mass traumatic events to basically summon demons and to afflict. So one of the big examples that I always think of is like World War I and World War II, war in general, 111 as I'm saying that. Anytime there is like warfare, conflict, unaliving, anything like that, demons are going to be present. And so basically what happens is all these people get sent into the war zones, they get traumatized as shit, they get a bunch of blockages in their soul, and they end up bringing demons home with them. And what ended up happening from that, right, a system of trauma. So then they would bring the demons home, and then they would start a family, they would have kids, right? And then all of those demons end up getting passed on to the kids, because that's what happens, right? The kids come out, they are shining their light because they're the purest, right? Like the light of God is shining through them. And over time, after living with their parents, all of their demons end up attaching and latching onto the kids. So now the kid is now forced with dealing with demons that weren't theirs to begin with. And that's why you hear like generational curse breaker, generational trauma, like that sort of thing, right? And so usually the demons that affect a bloodline, they're going to affect every member of the bloodline, right? And so that's why, like, if you can notice these certain things, you'll be able to notice things, right? Like I could be walking down the street and see like a certain configuration of demons, right? And I could be like, oh, okay, like I'm going to keep that in mind. And then I could see somebody else walk down the street and I'm like, oh shit, they have the same ones. They have to be related. It's like that, right? And so generally what you'll see is, obviously you'll see a problem running through the thing, right? Running through. And so that's what the ultimate goal was. The ultimate goal was to just continuously passing down demons and trauma, in order to keep everyone in a low vibrational state, in order to keep everyone from excelling and really standing in their power. You know what I mean? What am I missing? I know I could write my thoughts down before I come on here, but part of me feels like it's inauthentic if I do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, and so people are stuck. And then it's like and then when you go through, right, and you're doing your shadow work, or however you want to call it, whether you want to call it fighting your demons, taming your demons, shadow work, it's like all the same thing, right? Because what are you doing? You're healing the traumatic events, you're healing the soul blockages, all that stuff. So when you're doing that, you're going to notice that sometimes you will be healing from stuff that you didn't even know you had, like or like healing from an event that you physically don't even remember. And for the longest time, I had memories that were completely blocked off, that I could not get access to. And more recently, I've been able to see into those memories and heal the things that needed to be healed in there. But fuck. Oh yeah, but you'll notice that it actually becomes really easy. This is what I meant to say. The fastest way to like clear yourself of demons is fasting and like prayer and meditation. Like um I have never like seen like really a faster way to get back into alignment, and it's at the point where like um I fast like, like intermittent fasting. Like you don't have to fast the whole day, right? You could do it in periods. You could be like, all right, I'm gonna fast for 8 hours. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna fast every other day, like something like that. But it really does like just, I don't know. The other thing, when I was scrolling through TikTok one day, and this guy was talking about how everyone that he saw from like spirituality, they would basically they would awaken, and they would start talking about like all these things, all the other deities, like all this stuff, and then at some point eventually they would just come back to God. And so what I wanted to tell y'all was, when you're going through your stages, right, first you awaken, right? You awaken to who you are as a star seed, whatever. You just awaken to who you are, right? And at that point, now you're trying to go through your shadow, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to go through your shadow. You're trying to heal these parts of you. You're trying to make sure that you're taking like effort, right? Because that's what God wants to see. God wants to see that you're taking the effort to take yourself seriously. So are you making the right choices? Do you smoke? Like, do you go to the gym? Do you work out? Are you making sure you get enough sleep at night? Are you making sure you're eating healthy? Like all of these things, like you have to take the initiative, right? And so when you awaken, you're already on this path, right? You're already trying to make all the right choices. You're already trying to do everything correctly. And so now you're going back inside, and you're like, okay, I need to heal all of these things. I need to master my darkness, right? And so that's the thing, right? Because it's like like I always say, like anybody plugged into the matrix, right, could become Agent Smith. And so if you haven't taken care of all that trauma, you could flip into Agent Smith at any time. If you don't know who Agent Smith is in the Matrix, Agent Smith is basically like, basically, if you would think of like people in the CIA, like glasses and suits, and they basically keep the Matrix running. And honestly, yeah, they're like the CIA. And so then what happens is, after you leave Earth, right? After you leave Earth, in each dimension that you go up, you have to help the lower dimensions, basically. And like that's your task, that's your mission, right? That's your goal. So, and as you get into the higher dimensions, your sole goal is to help you on Earth find your path, right? And so that's going to manifest as the angel numbers. That's going to manifest as the synchronicities. That's the other thing I wanted to say, is that a lot of you all live life just thinking it's a random jumbled mess, right? Everything down here on this planet is God. Like everything, every single piece of everything down here is God. So that means that if we are God, living on God, that means we're literally just watching an entire movie play out, right? And that's kind of what it is, right? Nothing is a coincidence. Everything is too beautifully crafted here to be a coincidence. And God has always taken into account the move of every enemy when he makes his own plan, right? And so something I used to get made fun of a lot was how I looked to everything for a sign. I could be walking and I could see something in the grass, and that could speak to me. And that's going to be, how God speaks to you. God is going to give you certain signs and synchronicities that he knows that you are going to understand, right? You could look up in the sky and you could see a cloud shaped like something weird. Oh yeah, like one time I was doing something, and then I just got like octopus just came through randomly, and I was like, octopus. And then I was like, okay, octopus. And I was like, octopus, tentacles, something. And then I ended up getting the message. But like, if that message would have gone through anybody else's like detection, they wouldn't have understood what God was trying to tell me, right? And so you really need to start paying attention to everything, like all the signs and synchronicities. You say something and a horn honks, that could be, a confirmation for you. But the other thing that I said is, here in the third dimension, here on earth, we are in the enemy's home field. We are on the devil's turf. So that means that he is also going to be sending you signs and synchronicities, right? He is also going to be sending everything, right? The devil hears your prayers just like God does. And here in the third dimension, like I said before, in case you haven't noticed, or in case you haven't heard, like, I want you to think of the voices inside your head, right? And like, of course you would be like, voices, but I want you to really think. And if you notice, you'll notice three distinct voices, right? You'll notice the voice when you're actively thinking. You'll notice a voice that tells you bad things, and then you'll notice a voice that tells you good things, right? And so when you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're like thinking like, oh, I can never make it, I can never do this, I can never do that, that's the devil talking to you. That's the devil trying to get you to turn around and stop doing what you're doing, right? When you hear that voice that's like, I'm amazing, like, I'm great, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm strong, I can do it, like, that is the voice of God talking to you. And when you are actively in your mindscape thinking, that is when you're thinking. It was 11:11 when I said that. And so always be weary of, the signs and interpretations. And the other thing is, I can't take the credit for this. I saw it on a video. These two women were sitting in a car and they were talking about it. And they said that the enemy's timing will always come before God's timing. Because once you have what God planned for you, the enemy's not going to be able to compete with that. So the enemy is going to try to tempt you as much as possible before whatever God promised you is coming in, so that you'll take the bait and you'll be thrown off course, right? And so now we're getting back into up the higher dimensions, right? So as the dimensions go up, your only goal is to help you down here on earth. And so you start noticing 1212, you start noticing the synchronicities. It could be angel numbers, it could be even numbers, and then eventually you'll just get to the point where you see numbers and everything, right? Whatever. The other thing is how you think. Obviously, I shouldn't have to tell you all this. How you're thinking is manifesting everything. If you're always saying, I cannot do this, you are speaking that. Words are spells, right? Our words carry weight. The stuff that we say about ourselves, the stuff we think about ourselves, manifest. If you say, that's like in Virginia, when we're laughing all the time, we'll say, I'm weak. And I used to say that for years and years. And then one day I was thinking about it and I was like, damn, I'm always casting that over myself. Now I never say it anymore. But it's like little things like that. Or the way that they have things, etymology. Like, you can study it, right? I don't need to get into like all of that super hardcore right now. But damn, it's 13:13. But so the next thing that I'm saying is, all of you have all of the abundance in the world. I forget which dimension it is, but at a certain level, you're literally just standing there and you all have like, I don't even know if I can call it gold, but you have something like stacked around you, like high as fuck, and it's all currency. And all of that is your birthright. That is what every single one of you has. And the goal for you is to get into alignment with your authentic self so that you can start attracting that abundance, right? Because you're all billionaires, you're all trillionaires in spirit, right? That's also what they don't want you to know. And I know it's hard when you're struggling and when you don't have much. It's hard to embody that energy of, this is who I am, but it can happen, right? It just takes some reprogramming of the mind. And so let's see, we talked about that. Oh, and so the ADHD is fuck, don't mind me. And so now, right, you're going up the dimensions, and usually each one that you're at will give you something, will help you with something, right? And then they'll pass you off to the next higher version of yourself, and then they'll pass you off to the next one and the next one, all the way until you go up your soul tree, right? all the way until you go up the soul tree and you figure out where your soul started from, right? And then from there, you'll be passed back up to God, and that would be the level known as Christ consciousness, right? And so, of course, everybody is different. Each and every one of you has different abilities. Some of you, I'm sure, have abilities that I don't know. I love hearing about people's abilities. People tell me all the time. I'll ask people how they channel. People will tell me that they'll, see movies in their head. When I tell people that I can see the words clearly in my mind and all that stuff, they're like, "What? That's crazy!" So once you actually start like meditating, taking the right steps, all of that stuff, healing your trauma, your gifts should start manifesting. Yeah, the other thing is energy, like energy, keeping your energy clean, keeping your energy protected. um, you know the people that you surround yourself with have a big like play on like where your mind is going to be at, what direction you're going to take. So if you're around pessimistic people, who are always, like, you can't do that, we can never do this, like that type of stuff, it's going to negatively affect you. It's going to soak into your brain. It's going to become who you are. So you should do your best constantly to be blocking that kind of stuff. The next thing I wanted to say was down here, right? It's confusing, right? We're humans. Like, it's weird being a human, right? And that's because you're a soul. You're not an animal. Everybody down here thinks that you are a human being, right? You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You're literally just here experiencing. That is the whole point of life, is to just experience, right? And it's not to be like working yourself to death for a job that doesn't care about you. That's for certain. And so what we talk about is everybody's a piece of God. That means everybody's a perfect reflection of God, right? And one of the biggest lies you can do to yourself is looking in a mirror, right? Unless it's a true mirror, because what you're not seeing is your face, right? If everybody was created in God's image and you're always staring at a mirror, which is the backwards image of you, a reflection of you, right? It's not even actually you. How are you supposed to see the image that you were created in if you're never actually looking at your face? It was 1717 if you're just looking at a reflection. And so what we talk about here, right? Everything has to be balanced. Everybody is balanced. Everybody has a masculine and feminine energy, right? Masculine on the right side of the body, feminine on the left, and then everybody has light energy and dark energy, right? And so that means you are comprised of 4 different energies. You are comprised of light masculine energy, or light feminine energy, which would be your upper extremity, your left arm, your upper masculine, which would be your right arm, your dark feminine, which would be your left leg, and your right leg would be your dark masculine. And so, like, when you think about it, right, usually people who are in a lighter energy, they usually always have their hands up, right? They're usually like holding their hands up high. They're like talking with their hands. They're usually cool, calm, collected. They're usually speaking peacefully, that kind of thing, right? When you think about it, when you're pissed off, where is your energy usually? You might be tapping your leg, right? When you're sitting there thinking like, oh, I want to punch this dude, right? Or something like that. Your right leg might be tapping. But then when you're sitting there like, oh my God, I'm about to give this motherfucker a piece of my mind, like your left leg might be tapping. Stuff you need to worry about, or stuff you need to think about, right? And so if your light energy, your 2 upper extremities, is above your darker extremities, then now we have to counteract that. We have to balance that out. So now you have your heart, which is the center of light, which is the center of love, right? Is placed below your mind, the subconscious, which is the center of darkness, right? And so there you have created your perfect balance. And then that's why also I feel like it's just weird being a human. Like, there's 4 energies, that are working together to create a human experience for you. Because in case you all didn't realize, none of this exists. None of this matters. Like, none of this is real. Like, why did this shit stop? Hold up. Like God literally just created this just to live and, you know, experience and to forget about the eternity of being eternal, like eternal. When I finally hit the level and I remembered everything, it kind of feels tiring sometimes. I'm like, I wish I could forget. I wish I could forget the eternity of everything. Um, the other thing that I wanted to tell y'all is that you all have like past lives and stuff. Have you ever seen the movie Infinite with Mark Wahlberg? Basically, he is like reincarnated. Everybody reincarnates. And basically, you can tap into skills from previous lifetimes. I've talked about this before. For me, I have a room in my mind, I guess you would say, in the mind's eye, whatever. And this room has like a bunch of different me's in it, ranging from like a chef to maybe a cop to like all different things. And sometimes I will go in that room, like musicians, and I will like talk to them, artists, like, and I will talk to them and I will be like, yo, like, what should I do for this? What should I do for that? Like that kind of thing, like getting advice, like all sorts of stuff. Um, hmm. Yeah, I tried to put some of this information out beforehand, and I think it was too high vibrational for the crowd that it was hitting because everybody just turned into Agent Smith all of a sudden and started like bitching me out. But I think I'm gonna make another video here soon. Originally, I didn't mean to. Oh wait, no, this isn't the other video. All right, never mind. Forget what I just said. Is there anything else that I want to mention right now? Oh wait, where's my book at? That's a wallet. Yeah, I think we can cut this video here. Yeah, 22:22.